Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the number one question I get asked every single day. Even
Yeah.
from my agents, I get asked that.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I could tell someone is yes and no, because it depends. I hate to give such a broad answer like that, but the reality is, if your situation demands more, especially with me, my market, a lot of people, as you could see, I'm right next to New York, so a lot of people come from New York and they're renting, right? And they can't stomach those $3,000, $4,000 rents. At that point, it's a no-brainer to buy a property, even if the interest is 10%. Just make sure you can afford it. And that's what I tell them. If you have at least 3, 6, 12 months saved up, it makes sense. The property's good, your expectations are met, it's a great time to buy. You should be buying right now,
Right.
because the reality is the house pricing is always going to go up. And even if it dips down a little bit, overall, that's the trajectory.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with David Silva, who's the owner of 11X Brokerage out of New Jersey. And he also does some investing himself. So thank you so much for being here, David.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into all of this. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into real estate? How did you fall in love with it?
Yeah, so that's a story in itself. I started helping a family member of mine after they just recently purchased a multifamily of their own. At that time, this was around 2017. They knew absolutely nothing about the property or just the potential. It was more so buy a property to get a little bit of passive income, as I'm sure you hear all the time from investors, the whole reason to get into it. And just from start to finish, it was a nightmare. I could almost write a book just on that deal, because every bad thing that could happen happened.
What was
So,
happening?
oh, it was a mess. But the house was in need of repair. It was all in disrepair, but it was in a great area. If you know this area, we're in Hudson County, and that's where my business is and everything. The properties have huge potential, but this house definitely needed some serious repairs.
Yeah.
So we started with what was called a FHA 203K loan, and they gutted the whole house out. They repaired everything, but it was a nightmare. Like I said, from start to finish, just finding the right contractors, following up with the deal itself.
Mhm.
The people who were managing the mortgage weren't sending the deposits. It was a very overwhelming and intense project that basically took over 6 months just to get done, and then it got stretched out to a year between all the paperwork and all the legality.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So
Yeah.
after that, we had to get tenants as if that wasn't bad enough. And even that was a process because at that time, I wasn't even licensed in real estate, but I was getting the itch for investing in properties. So I was, going to local events and things like that. But I just saw how much suffering was involved with getting the tenants. So
Yeah.
at that point, I was like, enough is enough. I got my real estate license and I helped her out with, and it was my sister, by the way. She was the family member, but I helped her out with getting the whole unit rented. So we had that property um, probably 5 months on the market, nothing, and we ended up getting it rented out. Once I stepped in, got it rented out in just under 2 weeks, which was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, and
Wow.
we
So
actually
you,
set it. Yeah, go ahead.
no, go, keep going.
Oh, and we actually set a record on the rent for that town, which was even
Wow.
better. So a lot of people thought I was crazy with what the rent would be, and this is way before COVID, where the rents would just go up magically every day. This was actually a little bit of a challenge. So people were like, "I'm amazed it got rented for that price." And once they saw that, then forget it. People started calling me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you get into it for sure. What was the
Yeah.
difference between when it was sitting and when you were able to move it so quickly?
Oh, completely night and day different. I can show you pictures later, but it was literally the whole inside got gutted. I mean, financially, it was a six-figure repair. Yeah, and as far as aesthetic, I mean, the whole house got redone, everything inside. Yeah,
Well, that's awesome. So that really like shot out your real estate or your realtor career really quickly. How
yeah.
did you grow from there, and how did you end up owning your own brokerage?
Right. So then things definitely took off a little bit and it was very choppy at first because it's not like I knew a million people. A lot of people get into the sales part of real estate by just, call your circle of influence and that didn't work for me. So I ended up making calls. And ironically, that aligns with the investor side of things too, because you're not just going to find a deal. It's not going to sit on your lap and you can't just go on an MLS and cherry pick or go on Facebook and look for a house. You have to make a deal. There's no such thing as a deal sitting on your lap. So I started making calls. I was meeting people and I just ran into a ton of people. Throughout those couple of years, I ran into a couple of good mentors. They showed me the ropes. I started diversifying what we were doing. I did a little bit of luxury, a little commercial, and long story short, I opened my brokerage just a couple weeks ago, and here
Oh,
I am.
wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. So this is really fresh.
yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how has it been? I mean, you're right in the thick of it right now. What's kind of like your mindset? What's on your to-do list?
It's phenomenal. Very overwhelming, very tiring, but it's absolutely worth it, and I would do it anytime. Uh, right now, we're just setting up systems. We're getting everything put together. We just got this office, which is phenomenal. I don't know how good the camera is, but
Yeah,
the Statue of Liberty is literally right behind me. You could see it from there. So it definitely motivates you a little bit.
yeah,
As I bring people here for meetings and things, we love it. So just trying to put together the brokerage. And also, one of the big reasons, I'll share this too, one of the big reasons why I did this is to help not just investors find properties, because I would say that's easily 50% or more of my business till this
okay.
day. So
Mhm.
so even with that, I do want to help my agents invest in properties too. And I want them to have the security of that passive income and do it the right way. Because people say all the time, invest in real estate, but what does that really mean, right? And people they don't really show you the ins and outs. And I
Right,
think especially with social media, they don't show you all the bad things that can happen and the
right.
pitfalls. You have to prepare for that.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah. So how are you going to go about helping them? Are you going to do, coaching?
So we are doing some training as far as that goes. I have we have a small team because we just started out. It's about
Of
five
course.
people, but we do have a mix. We have a couple agents that are absolutely crushing it. They're at least closing a couple deals every month. And then we do have a couple that, they're just sitting down waiting for instructions. And I think with that type of agent, first they have to get their feet wet, understand the market, understand how to work things, understand what a deal is and what the client wants too, and really know expectations.
Right.
So yeah,
What are some misconceptions that you think people have when they're starting out in investing?
I think people, once again, because of social media, they made real estate look very sexy.
Right.
It,
And the
it
TV
can
shows.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be when done right, but realistically, that's 10% of the lifestyle. The other 90% is not what they're showing. And it's dealing with calls, it's dealing with clients, dealing with tenants, dealing with all kinds of issues. We could go on for days just with that. I had on one of my properties, I had a tenant that they were supposed to move out. And then long story short, I found out they were just leaving the country. And we had to work around with just the timing and everything, and it was a nightmare. And
Yeah.
then, it's like a new story every day.
Right. You have to be ready for those changes. You have to be like comfortable in the uncomfortable, basically.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, your bread and butter, you really source out these deals for people and help them build their portfolio. What makes a really attractive investment property?
100%. Yeah, that's how I do all my business, whether it's personally or for others. I've just found that face to face or on the phone communicating, it's the best way to outreach because like I said, if a deal's on the computer, if you see it online, it's already too late. And now you're just bidding and playing all these games. So the second part of that is qualifying what's a good deal and what's not. And that all comes down to, and like I said, I do this with clients and with agents. So whoever this is, I treat it like it's me doing the deal. And I always ask, as I would to myself, what makes it a deal for you? Right? Because some people might want a little bit of passive income and they're willing to sacrifice making so much more if they can have something more turnkey that is nice and clean and easy. We could get a $1.2 million house, but the rent is 5,000 per unit in a two family and you're sitting good. Maybe they want to live on the first unit, rent out the second, and they're good to go. But you might have another guy, maybe he wants just a little bit more aggressive expansion, which is kind of what I did. You might want a four family and you're willing to fix it up, or you're willing to maybe deal with a tenant that takes more of your time and you want to scale quickly. You really have to start with those basics because when I first started, it was all about money for me. But then I realized how important not just the money, but the flexibility with your time. Because if you don't have time, you're not going to scale.
Totally. And I think you brought up a good point of figuring out what a good deal even looks like to you. Cause I think a lot of people starting out don't even think that far. And it's
Yeah.
just like, and it's like finding a job where you find out what you don't want kind of through experience. So do you think a lot of this is like learned by experience, or do you think you can really learn some of this through like coaching?
You can absolutely learn both ways. And I'll tell you personally that I am more of a fan of coaching because you are shaving off basically the other way of doing it. You're shaving off those 5, 10 years of suffering, for lack of a better word, to really get to the point. So
Yeah.
it is, you could do it both ways for sure. But like I said, you're going to pay with time or money. And the choice is yours of how you want to proceed.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, I think a lot of people are a little hesitant right now, don't really know what's going on in the market, are kind of unclear. I would love for you to give your perspective on what's going on. Is it a good time to invest, get into the game?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the number one question I get asked every single day. Even
Yeah.
from my agents, I get asked that.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I could tell someone is yes and no, because it depends. I hate to give such a broad answer like that, but the reality is, if your situation demands more, especially with me, my market, a lot of people, as you could see, I'm right next to New York, so a lot of people come from New York and they're renting, right?
Yeah.
And they can't stomach those $3,000, $4,000 rents.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
At that point, it's a no-brainer to buy a property, even if the interest is 10%. Just make sure you can afford it. And that's what I tell them. If you have at least 3, 6, 12 months saved up, it makes sense. The property's good, your expectations are met, it's a great time to buy. You should be buying right now,
Right.
because the reality is the house pricing is always going to go up. And even if it dips down a little bit, overall, that's the trajectory. It's always going to go up.
Yeah.
So that's my yes. And then the no, I have a lot of clients, unfortunately, not as many as the good ones, thank God, but I do have some clients that they got a little overzealous with their properties,
Right.
and now they're having a little bit more of a hard time, even though I did mention a lot of things they could have avoided. So you really have to find out where your comfort zone is. And I think that's the biggest step of why people need me in the first place, because I'd rather send someone away than to have someone go all the way through a whole process and then they end up regretting the whole situation, which is something I've never had to do. So I am proud of that. Or my agents, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I do think people really value that. Just meeting people where they're at rather than trying to be pushy. I
Yeah,
think, in the business of sales, you get a lot of people like that. You get a lot of people who are forcing a sale. So I'm sure people really appreciate that.
absolutely.
Yeah. So as you're, expanding your team right now, what do you look for in your agents? How are you building out this team? What are your tips on working with the right people?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say agents and clients, it's almost the same category here too. I want to work with people. I'm always looking for people that the amount is limitless. That's fine. As long as I could get a little bit of sleep in, I'll work with as many people as possible. But I want to work with people that are hungry, but also have realistic expectations, because I've seen many times people are like, I want a deal. And then I ask them, when I first started, I would be like, oh, let's go online. I'll find the person the cheapest house and they're going to love it. And then I realized that's subjective. No, not one person is going to be the same as another. So I go off and I ask every single client and agent, what is a deal for you? What are you looking for? And as long as we could communicate that and we could get our expectations aligned, anything's possible. That's the reality.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's amazing. I mean, it's cool to talk to you when you're at the beginning, really building this up to be something that's going to be really big. And then, we were talking a little before the podcast about where this industry is headed, kind of it being tech focused. And, I know AI is a big thing that people worry about or unclear about with the industry. How are you seeing things change right now, like the landscape of real estate?
Yeah, 100%. That's a phenomenal question. Right now, it's an exciting but equally scary time with AI, just because I like to compare AI to a sword. You can do a lot of good with it. You could do bad with it too. I'm sure there's a lot of stories where people see people are getting scammed or, things like that, but it's simply a tool. So how you use it is really what matters. Now, I say this to any agent or investor. If you're not embracing AI, you're definitely going to get let behind. But at the same time, don't make it your whole life. That's not what
Right.
it is. It's simply a tool that's going to get you set up for success. So what we're using right now with AI, we're doing a lot of cool things. We're actually working with a couple smaller software companies right now to set up basically research and data on different type of demographics and clients, and just matching it together. And that's how we're getting information with, what's the leading place for investment. Maybe this area has more opportunities. I'm sure you probably heard of, like, they talk about this all the time on like a million podcasts, but like the Starbucks theory,
Mm-mm.
where you look for where. Okay, I'll tell you. So it's where the nearest Starbucks is getting built. That's where you got to invest.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
So everyone that looks at it like that, that's basically what we're doing, just in a little bit more of a calculated way. But we're not losing sleep over it, because at the end of the day, this is a person to person business,
Totally.
and you have to understand, if you're not communicating with the person, you're not going to get the point across.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a good point where there is a balance. It can really help people and it can help people multiply their efficiency. But yeah, if you rely on it, it's probably not good. Well, this has been awesome. To kind of wrap it up, you've kind of talked about some lessons you've learned along the way, but what was something maybe you wish you learned earlier in your career that you can share with people now?
Wow. There is a lot of things I wish I could have learned earlier. Although I don't have regrets, I always respect the reality that you have to pay in life one way or another. That's kind of been the whole theme here.
Yeah.
And I would say, from start to finish, the number one thing, if I could put something, there's a lot of things, but if I had to pick the number one thing, surround yourself with people, at least a person, but if you can, if you're lucky enough, surround yourself with people that allow you to grow
Yeah.
and encourage your growth and show you things. You should never be the smartest guy in the room, because the moment you are, that's the time to open the door and go to the next one.
I think that's really, really good advice. Well, I mean, you gave a lot of insight on investing, getting started, building a team. I think people learned a lot from this. Tell everyone where to find you and 11X.
Yeah, absolutely. You could check me on my socials. Everything is Deal with De Silva, DEAL with, and my last name, De Silva. And if not, you could go to the brokerage. It's 11X, all spelled out, RE for realestate.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, David.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Hope you learned a lot, and we will see you back next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.